Hey guys, it's Tay, and today we're going to get right into a tarot review of the new Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck. One of my favorite movies, and what a perfect time for Christmas. I have actually used this deck a little bit, but I put it back in the box. So, that's how she opens up. Very cute. It comes with a book. Nightmare Before Christmas, some artwork on the back. And I'm normally not a fan of books just because I like to use intuition myself to get to know my cards in a deck. It's pretty sturdy. But let's look at the back at some of the spreads. Okay, so they have like a preparing to tarot read, and then a couple different spreads called Sandy Claus, Eureka, a peek behind the Cyclops eye, and then it tells you kind of what each position means. We can do a couple card pulls at the end of this video. So let's see how this compares to the traditional Rider Waite, and then I'll give a couple of my opinions and we'll go from there. So first things first, this deck is pretty sturdy. I'm not a huge fan of the print on the back, but that's just a personal preference. And they're matte. I love that they're matte. So first off's first, we have the Fool. And I love, just like in the traditional Rider Waite, Jack has his little familiar. There's a little familiar here. Zero, his ghost dog. And with the Fool comes ignorance, bliss, not knowing what's going to happen, just the thought of an idea. And he was just thinking of going to a new world, and he didn't even know what world he was going to pick yet. And, you know, that innocence, for Jack's case, it didn't turn out the way he wanted it to. But I love that. And then we have the Magician. And with the Magician, I wasn't totally sold on, just because I don't like that the 4 elements aren't in this card. The Magician is all about swiftness and creating alchemy. But I do love that they're 2 witches. They have their brooms. She's on a book. It's so adorable. And just for reference, that's what the Rider Waite looks like with him, you know, creating all his alchemy. Then we have the High Priestess. And that is Sally, which I thought was so cute. I love her. Fits in the movie very well. And then we have the Empress, which I don't even remember this person. But it's cute. I don't really get the self-love vibes from it and the nurturing vibes, but I guess she's a mama. She's a little bit older. And that she's wearing a dress. There's some yellow here. This is what the Empress looks like in the Rider Waite. Then we have the Emperor. And I love that the Emperor is Santa Claus, and he's got all of his red on, you know, a lot of dominance and passion, and, you know, just Santa loves what he does, right? Wise. He's got the beard. He's got his version of a crown. So I like that a lot. Then we have the Hierophant, you know, your mentor, who you're going to go seek guidance from. And I don't remember his name, but I love that they chose him. I love that he has the 2 faces. I hope in this deck that they use another card where his face is turned. Then we have the Lovers. This is an iconic card. Don't even have to say much about that. Maybe Sally and Jack should have been the Empress and the Emperor, but you can't make the whole deck just with them, so I get it. And there's the Rider Waite version. The Chariot. I love that it's Santa Claus. Love that Zero's in the card. For reference, here is the Chariot and the Rider Waite. The Chariot's all about going forward by controlling these two sphinxes, but out of respect. If you see like he doesn't have anything holding them on, they just carry him because they respect him. So I wish there was more duality in this card. But I do understand that, you know, they respect Santa. Is that Santa or is that Jack? Oh no, I take that back. That's Jack. So, you know, him moving forward with his plans and Zero leading the way, aka Rudolph. And then we have Strength, which in the movie, he's not the smartest of guys, but he is strong. And in the traditional Rider Waite, strength isn't a physical thing. It's more of a mental thing. You know, you see she's controlling the lion and she can control him because she is strong mentally and he knows he needs her and vice versa. He protects her. She takes care of him. So I think that kind of got lost in translation here because he is physically strong. The Hermit. Love that it's the guy who's under the bed. I think this is very clever and cute. Love the illustrations in this deck. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which this is the Oogie Boogie Man's wheel. I thought that was clever as well. Justice. It's Jack leading a town hall, talking about what his plans are. The Hanged Man. So with the Hanged Man, I loved this scene from the movie, and I love the idea of using Santa Claus because he is kind of just like a sitting duck. But I didn't love that Santa Claus was used as the Emperor, and then he was also used as the Hanged Man. But, you know, this is like when you don't know what to do, don't do anything at all. Then we have Death, the Graveyard. Temperance. I love this card. If you know me, you know Temperance is one of my favorite cards. It's connected to Sagittarius, and it's just, you know, creating the perfect balance for you. And I love the artwork. I love the ghost that comes out of her cauldron and that she's using 2 potions. Then the Devil is the Oogie Boogie Man, which, how perfect. I love that the chains are in the background, and I think that this is a great form of symbolism, you know, from the Rider Waite into something like this. The Tower. Not as scary or creepy as this tower, but not all people view the tower as a bad thing, you know. Change is just change. The Star as Zero. I think this is very cute. But again, like, it's lost a lot of symbolism, but that's okay. This is why it's very important in my aspect to know the Rider Waite in more detail, and that, you know, that there's 7 stars, and then, you know, why does she have 1 foot in the water and 1 foot out of the water, and her, you know, pouring water into herself or itself. You know, I don't think this has a gender. And the intellect of the yellow hair and the blue of the intuition, you know, all those things, which is lost in here, but I understand it. So that's why I say, you know, it's very clever or smart to learn the Rider Waite and then move on. Let's look and see what the star means. The star represents from this book. So the star represents trust, faith, and newly found clarity. When all feels lost, have hope. Like Zero's glowing jack-o'-lantern nose, the star will light your way and guide you forward. Yes, divine timing, moving forward. I think that in this case, the book might help because you might not know what all of that means right off the bat. Then we have the moon. which I love so much. Lost in your ideas and your dreams, and sometimes that can be a good thing or a bad thing. The Sun, brighter days are ahead. I think this is very clever. I love this card. I think it's adorable. Judgment, have you been on the nice or naughty list? Are you going to act like you are going to be put on the nice or naughty list? You know, the realization of that. I thought that was clever as well. And lastly, we have the World. So, you know, it's picking what world he wants to go to. To the Suit of Needles. So needles in this deck is swords. And you know that swords fast energy. I love that they use needles. I thought that was very clever. So we have the Ace of Needles. The Two of Needles, which is about making choices, and she's deciding to help Jack despite her intuition, you know, saying this might not be a great idea. The Three of Needles, it's pretty standard card. The Four of Needles, which I think just having the needles on themselves is kind of a cop-out. I didn't love that. But with resting, it could, the Four of Needles could have been, you know, taking a rest with the man from under the bed in the beginning, or Sally taking a rest when she's stuck in that tower. I think there's a lot more that she could have, or the artist could have done with that idea. Five of Needles doesn't even really have the needles in it. I guess, you know, like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but Six of Needles, she's, you know, going forward. She's literally stitching herself back up. She's stitching her leg back on so she can move forward. And I love the symbolism in that. So it's like, how can you have such amazing symbolism in this card, but then in the Four of Needles, just put 4 needles? Or the Seven of Needles, the sneaky card. Like, there's so many things you could have done with the Seven of Needles, especially with this movie, that I'm not a fan of just like the needles on the card. And then Eight of Needles, which is all about being in your egoic mind and knowing that you're not trapped. She's not trapped without having an arm. She can easily put it back on. But maybe, since you use that symbolism in the Six of Needles, change it up a little bit. You know, you're not trapped in that tower, or you're not trapped to this fate. The Nine of Needles. The Ten of Needles. Again, not a huge fan of them just going into a pincushion, but, you know, I guess if I want to critique a deck that much, I make my own decks. I'm not too sure. Also, I do really like how thick this stock is. It's thicker than the Rider Waite. So we have the Page of Needles, the Three Little Rascals, the Knight of Needles, the Queen of Needles, and then the King of Needles, which I think that was a great character to pick. I don't love that all of the needles court cards don't have the element in them. And then we have candles, and this is what wands would be. So we have the Ace of Candles, the Two of Candles, the Three of Candles. I do love that candelabra. The Four of Candles, happy times with vampire friends. The 5 of Candles. I love, you know, like, because they are always kind of like fighting with each other, so that's pretty funny. The 6 of Candles. Also, not a fan of just like the candelabra with the candles. Maybe, you know, it could have been Jack on his way to take over Christmas and everybody kind of cheering him on. And this is like a card of ego and egoic praises. And then we have the 7 of Candles, which could have been him defending himself to Jack, defending himself to everybody for not believing in his idea, even though his idea wasn't a good one, and his burnout from trying to convince everybody. 8 of Candles, which is like messages coming in fast. 9 of Candles, which is exhaustion. So you definitely could have played something with Christmas not turning out the way it was supposed to with the 9 of Candles. 10 of Candles, which is another just candelabra. This is another card of exhaustion, carrying everything on your back by yourself. I'm not wowed by the candles. Then we have Page of Candles. He's so cute. Knight of Candles. The Werewolf. Queen of Wands. And then King of Candles. So if you see from this, like some have a candle in them, this one doesn't. I don't love that. I also think it would have been a cool idea if the pages were the same in every suit, and then you just made them do something different with the element that they had. Then we have Potions, which is represented by cups. So the Ace of Potions, love the butterfly coming out of it. 2 of Potions, which is the soulmate card, the lover's card, picking yourself. Like, this is such a prominent card. I wish it was like more than just 2 literal potions. 3 of Potions, celebration, having a good time. I thought it was very clever that the 3 of them are on top of each other. Again, there are no potions in this card though. 4 of Potions. I don't think this author really vibed with the number 4. But I will say, like how there's this hand randomly with this about to, you know, shake things up and get you out of the slump. I do like that. That's coming in to, you know, build the foundation or shake things up. 5 of Potions. Now, I love the 5 of Potions. Okay, you see he has 3 potions down. 2 are still remaining. He's looking towards his 3 potions, just like the 5 of Cups. So, it's just strange that some of these cards have such deep symbolism and then others don't. 6 of Potions, you know, child, being nostalgic of the past. There's so much you could have done with, like, Christmas with this one. 7 of Potions. 8 of Potions. 9 of Potions. 10 of Potions. Which, like, should have been the celebration of everybody together, or, you know, the happiness that Jack and Sally found, or I'm not sure. Something to do with being together, not just a jack-o'-lantern. Then we have the Page of Potions, which I love this little guy. So cute. The Knight of Potions. The Queen of Potions. I wish she was holding a potion. And then the King of Potions. So there again, you know, there's no rhyme or reason of who has a potion and who doesn't have a potion. So that's kind of consistent. And last but not least, we have Presence, which is their version of Pentacles, Earth energy. So Ace of Presence. 2 of Presence. I thought that was cute that it's Jack in the Box. 3 of Presence. 4 of Presence. So they're kind of like hoarding their cheese wrapped up. I thought that was adorable. 5 of Presence. The Mean Toys. 6 of Presence. 7 of Presence, which is, you know, working up in the pause before fruition. So it could have been them working on the costume before he went out, him packing his bag with the presents before he, you know, went on his trip. 8 of Presents. At least there is 8 presents in here. 9 of Presents, which is like luxury and all the things you need in life. It would have been cute if the presents were open and something grand was in them. And then 10 of Presents. So another, like, just like cop-outs, I feel, with just putting presents on a card. So we have Page of Peasants. We have Page of Presents. So cute. Love that it's the elf. Knight of Presents. Queen of Presents. Again, there's no presents in this card whatsoever. And then the King of Presents. So, with that being said, I like the deck. I love that it's matte. I think that they missed the mark on a couple things. But that's okay. Let's shuffle them up. Okay, so let's do one of the spreads. Blown to smithereens. Sometimes one door has to close before you can enter the next phase of your life. This tarot spread is designed to give you the clarity you need to realize what to hold on to, what to let go, and what to expect from the future. Endings make way for new beginnings and create room for you to become your best self. Embrace them. So this is a 5-card spread. And we have the first placement is Shot Down. The second placement is Oogie's Loose Thread. The third placement is Jack's Alive. The fourth placement is Lessons Learned. And the fifth placement is Meant to Be. So I'm going to just do a collective reading of something that we need to let go of. Okay, so card number 1 is the Knight of Needles. And Shot Down, this reveals what you need to end, move on from, or leave behind. So maybe you've been stuck in this Knight of Needles for too long and it's time to move forward, or it's time to stop killing your own dreams. This is quick moving energy. This is yang energy. This is not fully developed yet, but you've been here for maybe a little too long. And then placement number 2 is the reason for this ending and why you need a fresh start. So this is the this is the 4 of Presents reversed. And maybe this is, you know, you have been keeping things a little too much to yourself. You're not letting it blossom. You're not sharing your ideas with others because you are in that Knight of Needle energy. Your ego kind of kills your ideas before you can even have anything to come to fruition. And you're holding on to your resources instead of valuing abundance. And then the 3rd is Jack's Alive. This card represents what you stand to gain from letting go and making room for better things. So the Hanged Man, this is, you know, you coming to a place where you can really think about what you want to do before you move forward, but maybe it's from a more passive point. You're not killing your ideas, you're just holding on to them before the time is right. 4 is Lessons Learned. So the Queen of Candles reversed. You've learned that maybe you're burnt out right now because you just keep starting over. Like, you won't let anything come to fruition. So you're like, okay, this isn't really working, but it hasn't even had time to mature, and then you're going on to the next one, or these are ideas that you won't even let out because you don't think they'll work. You're killing them yourself, and you're so tired from overthinking of all of these ideas, but you won't nurture any of them. So you really have got to like move on from that. And then 5, what is meant to be? This card reveals the future, what's waiting for you on the other side of the transformation. The Sun reversed. So it might still be hard for you to see what's better on the other side, but maybe this is also you realizing that your ideas are valid, but you should keep them to yourself for a little bit longer, so they don't get burnt in the sun, so they don't get washed out, so that you don't get put down so much. This could be learning to keep your thoughts to yourself, so your thoughts can manifest and become a reality, and there isn't someone to tear them down before you have time to even decide if it's what you want to do or not. So a fun little pool. Okay, so I hope you guys liked this tarot review. It's something different, something new. I gotta figure out my camera angles that I like, what I don't like. So please leave feedback below. If there's any other decks you'd like me to review, leave that below. I do have a very big tarot deck collection already, so I could even do ones that I already have if you'd like. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you like this content. And to book a reading with me, my website will be down below in the box as well. All right, bye guys.